some of the fondest memories are obviously the hard sparring and those bike nights. And remember DC, me and DC were arguing over time and try to recall exactly the story for you. No, I'm gonna avoid this story.
what a tease! But you didn't like DC originally. I remember you telling us once that he came in and he had his wrestling pedigree, and I believe your words were, "Who the fuck is this guy?" When did it sort of turn? When did you realize, like, you know what, he's actually a good dude? Was it the bike night? When was the turning point?
Oh, he's just like, I was a couple years into AK and Kane and then DC came along, and you see a lot of like wrestlers come over. Dwayne Zinkin and Bob, they would recruit a bunch of wrestlers, and they thought they were obviously the pedigree would catapult them to being good fighters. Well, it wasn't always the case, and a lot of them would come in, but humbled, and I kind of forgot about my wrestling after a certain point after high school, and didn't follow it all that much. I do remember a little bit of DC when I was high school, but he came in and was just loudmouth, just fucking owning it, and I remember he was just instigating fights like right off the bat, like he'd been there for years. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I can't even fight. I want to see what's up. And I was like, I watched him later that night, some of his wrestling matches, and I familiarized myself with him. And I was actually, I kind of started to like him that night, just watching him, because I could see him. He was like fighting guys after his wrestling matches and getting real physical and just showing emotion. And I like people that have that in them. And I was like, I want to go with DC tomorrow. And they were already pretty high on him. And DC was, 260 at the time, something like that. I was 205 at my soaking wet at that time. So we went at it and we had a good sparring match. And then I liked him even more. We beat the fucking crap out of each other. I kicked him in the head. He slammed me on my head and went on and on. And then he started throwing punches when he couldn't do anything. So same for me. Then and there, I was like, I kind of like this guy.
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, let's talk about the fight that's coming up between him and Stipe. Obviously, he beat Stipe, and then he was winning that second fight until he got caught with some body shots. How do you kind of see this third fight going ahead of this weekend?
I think it's all about composure, and DC getting off, staying composed, staying relaxed, and adjusting. And that's what all title fights are. Title fights come down to adjustment and composure. And when you get the best two guys in the world that meet each other, you have to adjust. You have to see things, and you can't see red. You have to focus and relax through the process and calculate how to transition through what's happening. So Stipe was able to do that last time, and DC's got to keep a level head and focus on what he's best at, which is he's got so many more tools in the game, and he can wrestle better. He's better on top. He can kick. He can box. He proved he can outbox him. Stipe just kept a level head and then adjusted, and that was the big difference. So I think DC brings more on the table. It's just the mindset.